looking at two topical issues. Today we'll be looking at the PDP's quest to ensure that Tinubu is no more in the race, saying he is ineligible as a result of his conviction by court of competent jurisdiction in the United States of America. We'll be looking at that. I have my professional analysts, people of professional from various walks of life who are here to ensure that we do justice to this discussion. And after which, we will also discover that APGA has a new national chairman. And then, thank God, today we have a lawyer here who will tell us what clerical fault is in judgment. This and many more will be coming your way. Today, from my far right, I have Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi is a historian, a public affairs analyst, and also a political affairs analyst. Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good day, viewers.
After him, I have Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwog. Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwog is a practicing lawyer, also a security consultant. Not just that, he's also a public affairs analyst. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, moderator, and good day, viewers.
All right. The Atiku Okowa presidential campaign of PDP has commenced court proceedings to disqualify the presidential candidate of APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, over a criminal conviction and sentencing by a court of competent jurisdiction in the United States of America over trafficking in narcotics. I want to start with you, Council, before we take down the other thing. Like I said, this is in two segments. Now, Tinubu has been cleared by his political party and even by INEC. Is there anything that can make him stop this race, this presidential race?
Definitely. There are several factors that could prevent him from continuing with the race. The first, of course, is the God factor. God at any point in time is almighty. To him belongs everything, and he can use whatever instrumentality or condition or situation or circumstance to bring about what he wants. But beyond the God factor, you now have other factors, which, like you could now have human intervention, such as the PDP is seeking to do. But the important thing is that this is not the first time we are treating the issue of the conviction of the BAT, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sometimes it's called Emilokon by some people, comedians, or based on what he said. Not like I said earlier, and I would reiterate, if the court of competent jurisdiction has convicted him for a crime involving fraud, then by operation of our law, he's disqualified from holding a public office, at least for a certain length of time. Now, his spokesman, Keyamo, tried, howbeit without success, to convince Nigerians, persuade the world that the entity that was convicted was Bola Ahmed Tinubu's account in the bank, that it was the bank account that was convicted and not the man himself. Of course, with all due respect to the learned senior advocate, I think he was stretching logic not only too far to its illogical extreme, and was standing the law on its head, because you cannot tell us that it was the account that was convicted, being inanimate. If you are sentencing to prison or whatever criminal conviction or would I say sanction that would attach to a convict, would it attach to the account? So that is neither here nor there. Indeed, what the PDP is now doing is the correct thing, getting a court of competent jurisdiction to make a pronouncement on the ability of the BAT to stand for election or not.
Let me talk to you as a Nigerian. I'm not going to come from the legal perspective, if you are talking about the legal perspective, I may say yes, he is in for a big one. But let me talk to you as a Nigerian who understand the systems or the institutions that work here. I do not see this stopping what I am into. This is not the first time an allegation of such magnitude is being brought. You understand? Against him. Remember the issue of the bullion ban. And I do say the EFCC at a point, they are Nigerians. Say if you have any case, any matter against him, forward your application or forward your supplication and prayers. Many Nigerians wrote it, but today their protests they are all there still gathering dust as we speak. So that also points to something that we have weak judicial system or weak justice systems. But I was looking at something. You see, in Nigeria, I don't know, but I think we don't have a statute. The cases don't have not a statute ban. Yes, we don't have a statute.
That's not right. We do have.
Okay, we do have.
We have at the federal level. We also have at the state level, even at the state.
Yes.
Yes. It depends on. It's not one law that regulates every. It is per
laws and federal.
No. It is per subject matter, per item. So it depends on which item you have brought up.
Now,
there are certain cases that you say, especially criminal, time does not run against the state.
Yes.
In some also, time runs even against the state.
Now, according to PDP's release or PDP's position, they say that the statute of limitation does not apply in Nigeria. That's their position. I saw it there. But I think, to be honest, this should bring us to one question: what is the character and what is the pedigree of some of these candidates we are also supporting? You understand? Now the kind of worms is being opened, and then a lot of things being connected about the blessings and the character and the history of certain candidates who are parading themselves and who are potential winners of this election. And then
yes, every one of them is a potential winner.
Yes, and then it also speaks to something. You see, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as far as I'm concerned, in the Nigerian system, his case has no closure yet. Atiku's case also has no closure yet. In fact, I'm not trying to sing praises for him. The only person I have seen appear publicly trying to clear or absorb himself in some of these claims was Peter Obi, who went to Arise TV and then some other media outlet to talk about the issue of Panama paper offshore investments. But I've not seen some of these other candidates come out to say this is a misrepresentation of the fact from the press. This is actually what actually happened. And bringing the properties now. Do you know that the PDP's prayer, if you had seen the content, you would actually want to. I would have loved, though we should be asking why now. But there is every Nigerian, every right Nigerian should actually story represent. They said Tinubu passed or made the House of Assembly then to pass some laws, draconian laws that make the fact that as it is, he still receives salary 100% salary since 2007, and he has access to 6 vehicles every 3 years. In fact, there's a lot of things that should be interrogated if at all our justice system is operational. But again, that brings us to something. You see, the other day, the peace committee summoned these various candidates, you understand, to talk about why they should focus on issue. While we are busy unearthing ugly incidents about certain candidates, we should also try to stay focused on issue. You see, it is, in fact, in all the recent outings I've seen them, hardly had any one of these candidates focus on their campaign manifesto, which they flooded the internet spaces and the media spaces in the last quarter of last year. We saw how they, but now they are no longer sitting on the issue. We here, I myself and council, we've established that Nigeria is indebted, is suffering from debt burden. It's no longer debt portfolio, it's not debt burden. Now, they are no longer addressing these issues. And we've talked about the budget, whose parameters were cast on wrong assumptions. Nobody's talking about issues. No review of the budget they are all going to inherit.
Security.
Even security, thank you.
Which is the economy.
What they are inheriting.
Power.
They are inheriting a country in dire straits. A country that is messed up. A country that is, in fact, whose economy is on its knees. But they're not addressing these issues. They are now putting out diversionary things to hit up the politics. And you know what? The committee spotlighted 2 persons, Reno Omotri and the Femi Faneka. They said they are agents of falsehood. They are the ones hitting up the politics with the content they're general. And then also pointed at one Twitter account of one Fetiti said to be so while we are busy chasing or trying to uncover facts which are also relevant, we should also learn how to stay focused on the issues.
All right, Council, I said I was going to come back to you. Now, talking about this conviction of Tinubu and sentencing, you know, from all indications, these things were done. They were not done here. It was in the United States of America. And then, what is the right, and how are we sure that the court here can lay hand on these court proceedings to ensure that that man is indicted, or rather, you know, re-indicted?
Well, one thing you would give up for a country like the United States is their ability to keep records. Yeah. It is not as skewed and messed up as ours here in Nigeria. Sometimes ours is non-existent. A particular governor somewhere in the Midwestern state some time ago, I don't know what they call it, whether it is now South or so, had a similar issue, and it had to take the judge or magistrate who had convicted him to come to court to testify to say, you were the one I convicted. We've had that here. Even one time Senate president in this country went into, am I Evan or Evans? And yeah. I had a tweet and yeah. Things like that. It can only obtain here in Nigeria. Elsewhere, when you have a conviction like this, it stays in the official database of the country, and it's something that you can access from any part of the world. Yeah. Same here with Nigeria. We have what you call the certified true copy of public documents, which the courts have interpreted variously. Upon its mere production, that particular document speaks. Any public officer in custody of it can come to tender it in court. That is the certified true copy. You don't produce the original. It stays permanently in the government. However, a situation where even our apex court on some occasions have or has dealt into the realm of equally speculating, and we are not sure. He has provided a certificate to show that he's now a medical doctor. The sworn affidavit is now superior to academic record and things like that. So when we are faced with such a situation, applicable only to a place like Nigeria, then that is how and why I might begin to agree with Comrade here that if it is for the political aspect of that case, one might say that the case against Tinubu in court is as good as dead. It's not going to go anywhere. With one statement, all the trial court needs to do is to say that you did not establish it beyond reasonable doubt, or that whatever. And then you start struggling on appeal.
For lack of merit.
Yes, and so on. If it had been where records are kept and respected, then, for one, Tinubu's camp has admitted, when faced with the weight, the quality of that particular piece of evidence, they had, broken down under the weight of it and admitted that such a thing, after initially, the one Nigerians call initial gragra. Yes, after the initial gragra of, oh no, dismiss it with a wave of the hand, such a thing never existed. It's a figment of imagination, only to come back to say, okay, yes, actually, something like that actually happened, but it wasn't against the man, it was against his account.
Yeah.
That is silly.
Yes, and if you look at the narrative, you see, it calls to question the integrity or the moral capital of Asiwaju. It calls to question the moral capital of Asiwaju, and I will establish. You see, Tinubu, in that same year, made a declaration. You know, in America, you declare your asset, what you want. He was collecting a salary of $2,600 per month on a monthly basis. It was periodic, $2,600 periodic salary from Mobi, where he was working as a treasurer, not as a accountant, and does not have access to the funds of the Fed. Yet he was depositing millions of dollars, including opening account for the wife, according to the other allegation. And this started from the days of the days when David Hundeyi, when went into work and then came out with some of these things. Nobody, including the opposition, tried to take this matter up. So at a point, it appeared as if it was just like counsel said, something that came from the figment of imagination of the author. Now today, PDP is only reacting because APC 2 weeks ago, a fortnight ago, you understand, went to work also and saw that there was this allegation against Atiku, and now saying he should put them some relevant sections of the constitution, of the penal code, of the Bureau for procurement and other laws, you understand. But I think why we say institutions are weak is because if someone like Tinubu, Peter Obi, Atiku, Kwankwaso is standing election, you know, the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the police, even the courts, the DSS, they should mount. You see, they should mount vigorous intelligence and then search to know the personality of such persons. You understand? Because these persons, when they are voted into office, become the symbol of the nation. So to me, I feel it was even, in fact, it shows porosity in our intelligence and in our ability to keep record. You see, in America, Hillary Clinton was grilled or questioned for about 11 hours by the Senate. Why? Because they say those years, in fact, over 1,000 files were deleted from her mail concerning Syria and America's politics there. FBI swung into action. FBI should also be like the DSS, swung into action, understand? And after everything, even President Biden today, they have one or two issues. And I have said the other day that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced the court, you understand, in Israel. But in Nigeria, it's difficult to bring these guys to justice. And I don't know why it is like so. And like I've said, we are all seeing it now. We will see where it will not end.
All right, Council. You know, I see this as this PDP's move. I see it as a counter to the APC, which on the 20th of January approached the court. You know, asking the court to disqualify Atiku Abubakar and this. And it looks as if this sounds, you know, retaliatory. You know, asking now the PDP now coming back to talk about Tinubu's conviction in the United States of America. And why are these things not out there? In APC's zone, they never said that Atiku was convicted. They only talked about the special purpose vehicle, you know, saga, you know, sort of. Yes, and now, so what are we expecting in the two of them?
In Nigeria, it is said that if you want to know who dated your mom, venture into
politics.
Not just into politics, but stand for election.
Okay.
Then you will be told who dated your mom, who was her not just boyfriend but concubine.
Even the original father.
Yes, or whatnot. You understand? Yeah, when they are saying somebody dated your mom and her concubine, the speculation is there, the chance is there that the person you call father may not actually be your biological father. So PDP can also argue that upon the introduction of that particular piece of evidence into the public domain some time ago, that they went to work. Since the security agencies failed and or refused to do what they were supposed to do, that they now took it upon themselves to go to investigate, and that this is the time they have concluded their investigation, come up with relevant materials, and you know, that's when to swing in action. Another way of looking at it is that if you try to do the thing too early, it might not do as much damage. It's best you do it last minute That way, you achieve maximum damage, and time will be so short or even non-existent for the other side to react sufficiently so as to thwart what you are going to do. But again, in principle also, you have a point that all this while, it was not done until this side went beyond their own scope, and so this side, okay, like the proverb the Igbos have, the man with the, what do they call it actually? I'm trying to remember the name for it in medical terms, but the enlargement of the scrotal sac, the type of hernia.
Hernia of the scrotum.
Yes, well, they call it in Igbo, actually Ibi, yes. So he told the madman, I will break your head. And the madman looked at him and said, you said what? He said, I will break it. He said, me. Okay. If you say we should start breaking, then we start breaking. And let's see who has something to be broken. So maybe APC had told PDP, I will break your head. And the PDP, knowing that APC has a worse container of baggage to be broken, is not say, okay.
For them to,
yes. So let's
lead the way.
let's break it down and see how you react to it.
And why we do all these things, we should also in fact, it is imperative we also remember that the international community is watching, and some of these records are also with them. You don't joke with a country like the US. You understand? If such a record,
it will amount to nothing if those records are even given to INEC.
Yeah.
Without the pronouncement of a court in Nigeria.
Yes,
This point needs to be made.
Yes.
If our own judicial process does not pronounce on the validity or otherwise of such documents or information or evidence, they are just there for entertainment.
Yes, it really happened during the time that Atiku was contesting for election. INEC tried to disqualify him. The court told INEC it has lose.
Yeah, I said so earlier. Yeah, INEC does not have such powers.
But what I'm trying to say is that, given that too, what I'm trying to say is that we should also be careful, because the international community is also watching. And let me tell you this, you see, there was something El-Rufai said in his own book, a testimony he shared, and I don't know whether that is from a testimony. He said when they were at Barawa College, that's the secondary school, where Yaradua was a senior. He said Yaradua was also using hard substance. I'm talking about the late Yaradua. Do you know who he shared this information with? He shared the information with, I think CIA or FBI, these US-based intelligence networks, and now they built a dossier around our own president. You can imagine. So because at international court, there is what we call individual level of analysis. When individuals become president, if you go to sit with the at the UN General Assembly, there is a name plaque there. It's not written Tinubu or Atiku. It is written Nigeria. That name plaque is written Nigeria. What does it speak about us?
Okay, before we go on a very short break, Council, there is something I would really want you to explain further. If actually Tinubu was convicted as alleged by a court of competent jurisdiction in the United States of America, and then the records are seen right there, and the court of competent jurisdiction back here in Nigeria will not confirm that, would INEC have anything to do or to disqualify him?
It is not the business of INEC. Don't forget that INEC was not a party to the proceedings there.
Okay.
It is when that is done in Nigeria that it now has weight that INEC can act on it.
Okay.
Every nation is sovereign.
Okay.
Yes, agreed that we have at the international level, we have all kinds of reciprocity and collaboration, especially in fighting crimes. However, if there is no judicial pronouncement from this angle, domiciling whatever had happened there, you just have the man walking about freely and nothing much will happen. Except that if it had been in some other Senate climes where people are reasonable, the mere fact of the existence of such a document will operate. You don't need to go to court. The people own the power. Ultimately, power belongs to the people. The people own even the court. The people will not wait for the court to pronounce. The people will make the pronouncement using this. They will make on the day of election. The people will do this.
Even before the people actually go to the polls, there are. In fact, I can give you instances where candidates or even elected officials resign
on their own. Nobody resigns in Nigeria.
This kind of issue happened in America in the 1970s.
Except the party's spokesperson.
Yes, okay.
Don't overlook the fact that pressure was mounted on him.
Yes, we will understand his own case, you understand? Now, there are other people standing the same accusation as the Labour Party campaign person, you understand? There are even in ABC, even in PDP, but they have not resigned. Now, you see, in America, there was the Watergate scandal for which President Richard Nixon left office. Though he was later granted pardon by President Ford. But the fact remains, when you in Nigeria have that kind of institution, robust institution, that checkmates some of these persons and their excesses, and then again, politics in Nigeria is being seen as a means to wealth, you understand? And then powers and then appurtenances thereof. That is why these politicians would rather die in power, yes, than give up. In a certain crime, such other allegation, whether true or not true, the person will step aside and now try to do what? Clear his image. And I'll give you an example again. In America, in Britain, there is what they call the floodgates incident. A member of the parliament, MP, was coming. You know what? A security person at the gate stopped him. He said they had altercation. This security person said the man called him a pleb. A pleb is just like a commoner or a wretch.
Plebeian.
Yes.
Short for plebeian.
A plebeian. So he took the matter up. Do you know that even after the camera scrutiny and everything, it was discovered that this man did not mention the word pleb, but he had resigned honorably.
All right, our wonderful viewers, we are going to draw a curtain on this first segment of today's issues of the moment, and then we'll continue later with another topic, and this is where we'll call it quit for now. And from my far left again, I have Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
And Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwoko, security consultant, and I'm sure he's doing something about the security atmosphere of this state. Thank you for being part of this program.
Thank you, moderator, and goodbye, viewers.
And this is your moderator and command, Chinedum Adiele. We'll be right back.
And so you can keep on watching Living TV. I can say in pidgin English. Living TV. Unade Kampe.
Living TV, bringing the word first to you.
Allow me to enjoy myself. I love you. Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that Living Television, the latest satellite station on SatView channel, is received all over Nigeria and Africa? You can watch Living Television on every free-to-air HD decoder, including Strong HD and CSAT HD. Why keep paying for monthly subscriptions when you can have fun for free? With Living Television, you can watch lots of wrestling, football, documentaries, and Nigerian films, including discussions and debates on current Nigeria issues. Watch free live matches on La Liga Spain cum Serie A, Italy cum Bundesliga, German League 1, and French matches on over 80 premium channels. Wow! You can also sponsor your programs such as live church services and crusades, political rallies, burial and wedding ceremonies, promotional interviews, announcements, advertisements, documentaries, and commercials. We are situated at number 1 Judges Street off Ikore